With Spider-Man Brand New Day now out, I wanted to talk about what I wanted to see from this movie. I've now seen the movie. I'm sure many of you have now seen the movie. And what I want to do now is pretty much just talk about what I wanted from the movie before I saw the movie, right? Like, even before we knew anything about the movie, it's more or less this video is just, this is what I wanted, right? This is what I wanted from Spider-Man going forward in the MCU. So put this as like, I'm in the mindset post No Way Home. We knew the name of the movie was Brand New Day. Put this in your, that's where I was kind of thinking of this and what I would want, what I wanted from Brand New Day before I saw it. So let's get into it. You guys, please feel free to put down what you kind of wanted from Brand New Day in the comments below. I think that'll be fun to just kind of talk about. So yeah, here's what I wanted from Brand New Day. First off was a soft reboot. We had that with Doctor Strange doing his spell at the end of No Way Home. We got rid of Aunt May. We got rid of Peter Parker having like all the Tony Stark tech and all that type of stuff. That was all gone. Ned and MJ were donezo. We were done with them. So I really wanted a soft reboot where we can kind of just restart now, right? We can finally have Peter Parker be the Spider-Man we all know and like. And that goes into my second part, which is he's actually Spider-Man. So these two kind of work together. Is finally we could have him be Spider-Man and not Spider-Boy. That's my biggest problem with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, is I just don't like how they did his Spider-Man. He really felt like Spider-Boy or Iron Boy. He was like Iron Man's little sidekick, and I was not a fan of that. That was my biggest problem with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, was how he wasn't Spider-Man. He did not feel like Spider-Man to me at all. And this has nothing to do with Tom Holland as an actor. I think Tom is a great casting for Spider-Man. I think he's fucking great. But I just didn't like the way his Spider-Man was portrayed and the angle they were going for. So I was hoping with this like soft reboot, it would allow us to actually have him be Spider-Man. And you see that a bit at the end of No Way Home. He's working out of a tiny apartment. He's listening to police scanners. He sewed his own costume together, right? Like, he is now doing stuff on his own. So that's what I was really hoping for. And the first couple of the first trailer for Brand New Day definitely did show us that as well, that he was kind of working on his own. Now, in the movie, we find out that he's still a bit more high-tech than Spider-Man kind of should be, but, you know, he was still actually Spider-Man. I did get the feel he was Spider-Man, so, you know, that's what I was definitely hoping for from Brand New Day was, okay, we get our soft reboot, and we can redo the Tom Holland Spider-Man and make him actually Spider-Man. One thing I also wanted from this was I wanted no MJ and Ned, which we obviously did not get. We got MJ and Ned quite a bit in this movie. But I wanted them gone. I felt that at the end of No Way Home, that was the perfect end of their characters being here. It was the perfect way to write them off without killing them or doing anything malicious to them. It's just they just forget who Peter is, and Peter, being Spider-Man, wants to keep them safe, so he's going to stay out of their lives. That's how I felt it should have been, and we can move on to having actual Spider-Man characters in, right? We could have introduced Harry Osborn, right? You could have introduced people like Randy and Robbie Robertson, right? J. Jonah could have been more like in this, right? You could have had a new love interest, whether that be Gwen Stacy, you want to introduce her, you want to introduce Black Cat in, because of where Peter is mentally, you know, she could be like a temptress for him, or you could introduce the real Mary Jane. You know, there was plenty of options for you to do that could have got rid of MJ and Ned, right? We could have just said goodbye, you're done, Peter's gonna move on now to have more Spider-Man things happening. Imagine this, where it was Peter is going through college right now, and he's trying to, like, you know, he's isolated. He's got no friends anymore. No one's his friend. No one knows him. He's on his own. And, you know, maybe he, like, sits down for a lecture, and a guy sits next to him, and they start talking, and Peter's like, oh, I actually kind of like this guy. We're kind of bouncing off each other. Maybe I can have a friend again, right? Maybe this is the start of me making a new friend. And at the end of class, as everyone's going away, Peter's like, hey, my name's Peter Parker. Real nice to meet you. And the guy goes, nice to meet you, Peter. My name's Harry Osborn. And you can just see Peter's face die as he remembers the Osborn name. That would be pretty cool, I think, right? You can introduce, like, in Spider-Man Brand New Day, we had Jean DeWolf. You could have made that George Stacy very easily, and if you introduce Gwen in. Pretty easy thing to do, I think, right? Introducing more Spider-Man characters. I would have been fine with Betty Brant sticking around, but it is like a reset type of thing, right? So like you could have it, which they didn't use in Brand New Day. Peter could have been working for the Daily Bugle. He's a videographer or a photographer for the Daily Bugle, right? And he sends it over to J. Jonah for the website or the videos, right? It's all done by him. And you can have Betty Brant there because she was in the other movies. You can have Betty Brant there. And she obviously doesn't know who Peter Parker is, right? So she just sees Peter as her co-worker, right? Oh, yeah, we both work for the same company. Hey, you know, Peter comes in every now and then to, like, I don't know, maybe J. Jonah wants to talk to him, so Peter comes in. Betty's there, and she's J. Jonah's assistant. You know, that would have worked, right? She obviously doesn't know who he is. He can have that, like, oh, yeah, Betty. Hey, Betty, how you doing? Oh, hey, Pete, how's it going? And that's it, right? That would have been, I think, fine. But yeah, you can have Robbie there to be that nice older mentor figure to Peter. Whenever Peter gets, you know, discouraged from something J. Jonah says, Robbie's there to kind of prop him up a bit, right? That I think would have worked for introducing more Spider-Man characters into the lore, not just heroes. You could have had a couple more villains in there too. They mentioned Shocker in Brand New Day, and Shocker is in Homecoming, but I guess we're alluding to the fact Shocker still did stuff after, right? But you can, like, you know, again, introduce more Spider-Man characters. I liked how they had Tarantula and Boomerang and Tombstone in it. Introduce a couple more would have been nice for a joke, man. Rocket Racer, right? Spot, Stiltman, you know, a couple of jokey guys, right? Scorpion, I would have liked if Scorpion had more of a bigger role in Brand New Day than he did. I think Michael Mando did great as Scorpion, by the way, so he's fine. But, you know, just introduce more Spider-Man characters is what I was asking, and really make this feel more Spider-Man than what we had before, which was MCU Spider-Man. And get rid of MJ and Ned. We don't need them anymore. I wanted a more serious tone, which we definitely got in the movie. The movie's tone is definitely a lot more serious than the other Spider-Man movies, which I did appreciate. There was not a lot of the stupid Marvel humor in it, which made me very happy. There was humor in the movie, but it was well placed, and it really, really got the whole Peter Parker's in a bad spot as Spider-Man, right? He is kind of just diving headfirst into being Spider-Man. Peter Parker's suffering while Spider-Man's thriving type of thing, which is how it should go, right? Usually is whenever Peter Parker's stuff goes good in Peter Parker's life, Spider-Man's life goes down, and when it's the opposite, Spider-Man's life's going up, Peter Parker's life goes down. That's kind of how it goes a lot of the time. And I was thankful for that. But yeah, I am happy it kind of went for more of a serious tone, which is what I wanted, right? Especially coming off of where we ended off No Way Home. We should have definitely had a bit more of a serious tone for this movie. And I am happy they pretty much did that, you know? Even like the coloring where the world was kind of grayish at times, at least Spider-Man's suit was still bright and vibrant, which was very cool. And like I said, I wanted to see Peter being in a bit of a bad spot. He's kind of in a bad spot in the movie. Not tremendously, but he is sort of in a bad spot where Peter Parker, he does not care about what's happening with Peter Parker. He's fully going into Spider-Man. He's still moping over Ned and MJ, which it's been 4 years. Like, move the fuck on. Seriously. Like, God, man, that is... Jeez. Move on, man, please. But yeah, like, I did want to see him at least start the movie not in the best of spaces, and then, you know, at the end, he gets better, which they kind of do. Not in the way I would have liked it, but they do kind of do that. So I guess that one also got fulfilled, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much what my checklist and kind of wish list was for Brand New Day. This is a pretty short video, but I just wanted to go over this. Like, this was what I had when I heard about Brand New Day, and just like, anyway, just like, oh, the next Spider-Man movie, what would you like in it, right? This is what I wanted. I wanted a soft reboot, not a hard reboot, a soft reboot where the previous stuff still happened, but we are now kind of not going to talk about it that much. We're going to move forward. I wanted to see Peter Parker actually be Spider-Man, which he is. He's got a lot of the gadgets. The suit is fucking fantastic. And he does feel a lot more Spider-Man than Spider-Boy. I wanted no MJ and Ned, wanted to move on past them, which we sadly did not get. I wanted more Spider-Man characters. We saw a bit of that, right, with Scorpion, Tombstone, Boomerang, Tarantula, Jean DeWolf, even though she was race swapped. We did see a bit more of that, so I am happy we did get that. I would have liked more, like, to go full on, right, like Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn, Mary Jane Watson, George Stacy. I would have liked more of just, like, the big stuff would have been nice too. A more serious tone, which we did get. We did get a lot more serious tone, which I was thankful for. And show Peter being in a bit of a bad spot to kind of start the movie off, which he kind of is, right? He kind of is in a bad spot to kind of start the movie. But yeah, that was my wish list for Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I will say, most of it got checked off. Some of it was a partial thing and all that, but yeah, I think my main criticism with Brand New Day is, well, just how they use Jean Grey, but also how in the other Spider-Man movies, to me, they don't feel like Spider-Man movies. They feel like MCU movies featuring Spider-Man, and we kind of got that again. This one definitely felt more like a Spider-Man movie, but it was also like, we're going to soft launch the X-Men in this too, which was like, okay, come on now. Can't we just have a fucking Spider-Man movie with no nonsense? Because now I watch this movie and it's like, oh yeah, we're going to do X-Men after this, is always a thought in my head, not just, oh yeah, it's a Spider-Man movie from beginning to end. That's something I would have, liked more of. But yeah, that's it for me. Let me know in the comments down below, you guys, what was your wish list, for Brand New Day and all that type of stuff. Love to know. See you guys down in the comments, and I'll see you guys all next time. Have a great rest of your day.